welcome, welcome. Thanks for dropping in. I'm assuming if you're watching here, then you're ready to join me on a new adventure in Skyrim. Gonna go fight some dragons, explore some ruins, learn some shouts, yell some people off of cliffs, run around picking plants and flowers, you know, things that real dragonborn heroes do, right?
Hey, you're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Walked right into that Imperial ambush, same as us.
Ran over a skeever.
Over there.
Damn you Stormcloaks. Skyrim was fine until you came along. Empire was nice and lazy. If they hadn't been looking for you, could have stolen that horse and been halfway to Hammerfell. You there, you and me, we shouldn't be here. It's these Stormcloaks the Empire wants.
We're all brothers and sisters in binds now, thief.
Shut up back there.
What's wrong with him, huh?
Watch your tongue. You're speaking to Ulfric Stormcloak, the true High King.
Ulfric? The Jarl of Windhelm? You're the leader of the rebellion. But if they've captured you... Oh gods, where are they taking us?
I don't know where we're going, but Sovngarde awaits.
No, this can't be happening. This isn't happening.
Hey, what village are you from, horse thief?
Why do you care?
A Nord's last thoughts should be of home.
Rorikstead. I'm from Rorikstead.
General Tullius, sir. The headsman is waiting.
Good. Let's get this over with.
Sure. Mara, Debella, Kinnereth, Akatosh, Divines, please help me.
Look at him. General Tullius, the military governor. And it looks like the Dalmor are with him. Damn elves. I bet they had something to do with this.
You're damn right, they're running this. What are you talking about?
This is Helgen. I used to be sweet on a girl from here. Wonder if Vilod is still making that mead with juniper berries mixed in. Funny. When I was a boy, Imperial walls and towers used to make me feel so safe.
Who are they, Daddy? Where are they going?
To go inside.
Why? I want to watch the soldiers.
Inside the house. Now.
Whoa!
Get these.
Why are we stopping?
Move it!
Why do you think? End of the line. Let's go. Shouldn't keep the gods waiting for us.
That's right, face it like a man.
Face your death with some courage, thief.
You've got to tell them, we weren't with you. This is a mistake.
Step towards the block when we call your name. One at a time.
Empire loves their damn lists.
Ulfric Stormcloak, Jarl of Windhelm.
It has been an honor, Jarl Ulfric.
Ralof of Riverwood. Lokir of Rorikstead.
No, I'm not a rebel. You can't do this.
Halt!
You're not gonna kill me.
Archers!
Yep.
Anyone
Gonna
else
go down running.
Wait. You there. Step forward. Who are you?
Alright, be prepared to be amazed as my face morphs in front of you about 1,000 times. Right? Alright, man, let's get into race selection. I did do a video on this. It was like one of the first that I ever did on my channel. And, really poor quality back then, but I was even asked to redo them. Like, man, could you do them over again with something where I can at least see what you're doing and tell what you're saying? Oh, okay, my bad. Anyway, so here we go. So I get a chance to redo this. Anyway, to keep it just simple in a nutshell, basically, the best race to start with is, now this is kind of counterintuitive. It's kind of thinking outside the box, which, you know, it's not as in depth, I think, as it was in Oblivion. And and in a lot of other RPGs, it's pretty simple. You know, I mean, what you want to do, you just put points into that so you can do it better. Pretty simple here, pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of things to mix and match. Well, this buffs that, and that takes care of this, and this complements that, and there's synergy with this, and you know, there's not a lot of that. It's basically, well, if you use that weapon, we'll put all your points into that so you can use it better. You know, pretty simple. But whatever you decide you're going to do, pick the race that is basically built the opposite of what you want to do. In other words, if you want to be a mage, try starting with an orc, red guard, or a nord, or something like that. All right, something that's more combat oriented. All right, this will make sense in a second. If you're going to start combat, like I am, okay, I'll be dual wielding. Thus the Berserker build. We're going to go heavy stamina based dual wield build. Then I want to start with more of a magic based class. Altmer would probably be pretty ideal for that, although it has some weaknesses. And they're really, really tall. I prefer the shorter, stocky little short Breton assassin type, little Berserker. Anyway, that's my favorite. But regardless, the Breton and Altmer are ideal for the combat-oriented stuff because your starting skills are lower. And, okay, this is why it's so beneficial for you. Let's say you want to be one-handed and you want to wear whatever armor, doesn't matter, heavy armor, whatever. And you want to use your bow, okay? Well, your magic-based classes like the Altmer and the Breton start with skills in like the 15, maybe 10, 15, 20 range, whatever. I think 15 is minimum, maybe it's 10. But anyway, you start with lower starting stats and all of those things that you're going to be doing most of the time. If you know you're going to be using a sword all the time, find a race that starts with the lowest one-handed skill, right? If you start at 25 or 30, you can only level that up 70, 75 times, right? But if you start with a starting skill of, say, 15, 10, 15, 20, you can level it up 80, 85, 90 times, whatever. All right, you get it? Okay, so each time you level up a skill, doesn't matter what the skill is, anything. They designed this to where whatever you do in Skyrim works towards your overall level. Whatever you do, doesn't matter. Okay, so anytime you level up any skill, it goes into basically one experience pool. And that pool decides, when you're going to level. And you'll see it. It'll have, the number of your level next to it. And you'll see it, fill up slowly as you raise certain skills. Okay, so if you can raise something 85 times, you're going to be able to level more from that. All right, so if my main skills are one-handed, a certain kind of armor and bow, all right, but all my bonuses are in magic-based stuff, then my magic is going to start a little higher, which will help me out on the few times that I actually do use magic, like with the Breton, I'll conjure stuff, have some off-tanks like familiars and atronachs and things as I can summon them, okay? But my primary melee abilities start lower so I can level them more, and it'll count towards my XP pool. Now, if you have the Dragonborn DLC, true enough, they got that thing where you can reset your points and do all this stuff, and it's unlimited leveling and all that. Well, I'm level 5,000 and whatever, okay? But with the way the game was originally designed before they realized players were getting bored and start throwing them all kinds of, little bones here and there, to, keep it interesting, I guess, type of thing. Before all that, I would say the base game, although I do have, we will get into some Dawnguard DLC stuff. I really like that a lot. I don't know if I'm going to make a house with Hearthfire. I seriously doubt it. It's tedious. I did it for one of the achievements on Xbox, and it didn't even bother on PlayStation. I got the Platinum on PlayStation, for the game itself. But there's some side stuff that was just a lot of stuff. Collecting clay and iron and wood and hay and glass and, oh man, and just going from one town to the next. And I'm freezing my console every 5 minutes from fast traveling here and there trying to find all this crap. Lumber mills and all this other stuff. Anyway, it was just annoying. But the houses are cool, though, once you have them built. That is kind of cool. But I can take a house in town just as easily. It's fine with me. We may get around to building one. I don't know. We'll see what happens when we get there. But anyway, that's how I pick my starting class, okay? I pick one that's kind of counterintuitive, kind of the opposite of what I'm going to start with so I can level more. I did the same thing in Oblivion. You never chose primary skills that you were going to be using. You only picked primary skills that you would use when you felt like it. Like if my primary weapon was going to be one-handed, then I would take something else. I would take blunt in Oblivion as a major skill. So if I needed to level, I could switch to a blunt weapon, use it, level that skill a few times until my character actually leveled. And then my secondary skills, I could just level as I wanted to, right? So I was thinking about actually doing a video on that because it's a really cool, interesting leveling system they've got there. and there's a way to really maximize your character and stuff in that. And it seems simple on the surface, but when you get down into it, picking your skills and your starting stuff is actually really, really important in Oblivion. It's really cool. May do that. As far as doing a whole Let's Play of that, I don't know. Was asked by one or two people, and I, even though it's my favorite of the series personally, still, I when I play, I do so much exploring and just tasking and stuff like that, rather than just playing in the game and stuff. Because I really love the Oblivion world and stuff. I think I would be bored to tears watching it personally, but love playing it. If that makes any sense. But anyway. With this, this is a little more pleasing to the eye, I think, Skyrim. At least as far as, running around combat and stuff. Although a few of the things like magic and things, I think don't look quite as good as Oblivion did. I thought fireballs and lightning and absorb health and stuff in Oblivion was done really well. I think they kind of got a little lackadaisical on that in this one. But overall, I mean, obviously, the character looks and stuff like that, they put a lot of effort into that. And so, anyway, that's how I picked my race. Now, there are a couple races that have some things that you can't make up for through magic skills or standing stones. Okay, standing stones are a major factor later. Is if there's one thing your character, your race does, and you say, I would really like that, first ask yourself, can I get that off a standing stone later? Like, the ability to move a little faster, carry a little more weight, blah, 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 have a little more magic, have a little more health, have a little more defense, make my skills go up faster. There's standing stones for stuff. And then there's spells also that allow you to breathe underwater and do other things. Now, the Khajiit, I think, get a little melee bonus for unarmed, fisticuffs. And I believe the Imperials get a little bit of a gold finding bonus. You get, like, I don't know, a couple extra % on your on the gold that you find. So by the time you've collected 100,000 golds, you may wind up with 105 or 110,000 instead, which is okay, but gold has never been a problem, especially once you join the Thieves Guild. It's never an issue, at least with me. I've never experienced a shortage of gold in this game. In fact, I usually don't know what to do with it unless I'm buying a house, or something. And let's see, the Orc has one really cool one, and though I'm playing a Berserker here, I'm playing with my favorite race, and that's the most important thing, is what you enjoy playing. That's really what it boils down to. I mean, because a lot of it really just comes out in the wash later on, but the Orc has kind of a little Berserker ability where you kind of get like God mode for like 30 seconds or a minute or something, and you just get like this ultimate regen, and you just go in and you just this screaming, roaring, frothing at the mouth, DPS, unkillable machine for a minute, just for funs, and that's cool, right? And I don't see replacing that with much in the game, and that could be a deciding factor on picking a race there. I admit that, although I find it hard to play an Orc personally. For those of you that really dig that and you want to play a style of character like what I'm going to be playing here or something along those lines, something to think about, because they have the one true Berserk mode, in the game. Okay, the taller the character, the faster you move. But it's very, very, it's not very much, right? Like in a 100-yard foot race, you might beat a shorter character by a couple paces, but you move a little bit faster. I mean, if that's important, well, something to consider. Altmer and I believe the Nords. What's the other tall race? Altmer, Nords. Imperials are actually shorter in this game than you would think. I think Imperials and Bretons are the shorter ones. Elves, Khajiit, Argonians are kind of in the middle, I think. Although Wood Elves might be taller, I'm not sure. I don't really remember. Anyway, but I know Altmer are like the tallest, and I think Nords come in second. Maybe Red Guards, too. But anyway, so if you're taller, you move a little tiny bit quicker, but I think they have a standing stone that actually increases your movement speed anyway. Doesn't really matter. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know. Also, it seems like there's a perk on the light armor tree. I don't remember if it increases your movement speed or not, because we'll find out when we get there. But anyway, some small things to consider. But the bottom line is, as far as gameplay fighting goes, which you're going to spend a lot of time fighting in the game, although you probably spend a lot of time picking flowers and weeds and just looking around and standing on cliffs and, shouting goats off the edge of mountains and stuff like that. I mean, we've all done a lot of that too, right? But as far as playing the game, you'll be doing a lot of fighting. So if you're keeping that in mind, pick a class that starts with the lowest stats and the things you're going to be doing. And you'll find it'll benefit you more later on down the road. All right, allow you to level a bit more, and you'll have more balanced character because you'll have the lowest stats catching up to the things that you already have bonuses in, rather than piling everything into stats that are already higher starting, and then the ones that you don't use often, you really have to grind them to get up to the level that you want to be. If you want to get up in the 50s or 60s, once your primary skills are capped, you're not earning any more XP from those. Once they hit 100, that's it. All right, and so your secondary skills, then you have to start going out and doing things specifically, you know, casting Soul Trap on dead bandits or something, you know, and things like that. Whatever, that's, you know, start raising skills and just things that to me kind of break the immersion of the game, kind of take you out of the game a little bit, because now it's like you're doing work. You're doing a chore to try to raise this up so you can get a level rather than it happening naturally. So if you start with lower skills and stuff, as you level those up, they'll level your character too, and you don't have to go so much out of the way to do that. You'll more naturally just level as you play. You keep your mind in the game and stuff. It works for me like that. And you'll be stronger later anyway, so it's you know, it's a plus plus. All right, so that's how I do race selection. Those are some things to keep in mind. And so I'm going to run with my Breton here. I'm going to keep in mind that I'll probably wind up being a vampire, so we'll get the eyes real dark, so when they start to glow, they'll look like uber cool. You know what I'm saying? Got the streaks going on here. Character already almost looks like a vampire as it is. Probably should have made her a little paler, though. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Be the only vampire in Skyrim with a tan. I don't know, actually, once you become a vampire, it might pale you out anyway. Alright. And so, the challenge for this game is, if that's what you want to call it, is I'm going to put on Legendary, and then we're going to play with iron weapons only, and probably fur armor. I was thinking, I'm crossed between iron armor and fur armor. It's going to be base armor. One or the other. I'm not sure which. Gonna have to decide at some point, start sinking points into one tree or the other. But there'll be that. But it's gonna stay base, and there's gonna be no exploits. We're not gonna use any restoration glitches. We're not gonna make one potion to make another potion, blah blah blah. To where we have a weapon that does 65 million health or stamina damage and all this crap. You know, we're not doing any of that. No exploits, no cheats, no nothing. We'll use what we've got and roll with that.
You from Daggerfall, Breton? Fleeing from some court intrigue? Captain, what should we do? She's not on the list.
Forget the list. She goes to the block.
By your orders, Captain. I'm sorry. We'll make sure your remains are returned to High Rock. Follow the captain, prisoner.
Now, when you roll with iron armor, you're stuck with pretty much one skin, one particular look, right? With the fur armor, I really like the Forsworn Armor. And the thing about armor, at least in Oblivion and Skyrim, these Elder Scrolls games, is...
Some here in Helgen call you a hero.
Oh, hold on a
hero
second.
Doesn't use a power like the voice to murder his king and usurp his throne.
You can stay out of Skyrim politics, dude.
Plunged Skyrim into chaos. And now the Empire is going to put you down and restore the peace.
What was that?
It's nothing. Carry on.
Yes, General Tullius. Give them their last rites.
As we commend your souls to Aetherius, blessings of the 8 divines upon
For the love of Talos, shut up
Soul,
and let's get
earth,
this over with.
Nern, our... As you wish.
Yeah, no doubt. Stop pontificating,
Come on! I haven't got all morning.
friggin' hypocrites. As we murder you and dig all off in your business at the beckoning of our Thalmor masters. Wait, yeah, shut up. Seriously.
You Imperial bastards!
Justice!
Death to the Stormcloaks!
Justice?
Fearless
Wow.
of death, as he was in life.
Some people really are
Next,
tools.
the Breton!
Alright, what I was going to say is the difference in armor is there really isn't any in the Elder Scrolls games. Is there's a cap, okay? It's a certain percentage of damage resistance where you cap out at regardless of what you're wearing. So if you had let's say a full Daedric set or a full whatever, you know, Dragonbone set or whatever, totally maxed out, super exploited with this and had 5 million armor rating, doesn't matter. You cap at 80-85% damage resistance no matter what. So whether it's 500,000 or 500 trillion armor rating, doesn't matter. You're still going to hit that cap. And you can hit that cap with light or heavy armor, so you can essentially get the same defense from a fur armor set as you could from a full set of Daedric, right? Or whatever, okay? With the right enchantments and with the right blacksmithing, you know, crafting and stuff, you can do that. So, armor choice is really, in the end of the day. Early on, now, heavy armor obviously has a lot more damage resistance, okay? But later in the game, once you've got all your skills up and stuff, they really don't make much difference at all, except for what you like to look at. And looks are a big thing with me. I really love the Forsworn set, so I'm probably going to go with fur armor just for that. It's a nice stamina regen bonus you can get much later with fur armor, or with light armor. Although, the heavy armor with the stagger resistance is really nice. So that kind of, you know, it's one or the other. Stagger resistance will keep you alive a little bit more, but later on, once your health gets up there and you get some defenses up and you start building your skills, it's not so bad anyway. It's early on where even skeevers are 1- and 2-shotting you on Legendary. It really is. So, later on it won't matter as much, but anyway, so I'm probably going to roll with fur armor, but we're going to limit ourselves to base armor. The Forsworn is a couple points higher than your base vanilla fur armor. Couple points, I think, but it looks so cool, I'm just going to run with that. Like I say, in the end of the day, it doesn't matter, and a couple extra points are irrelevant anyway, especially on Legendary. The difference in Legendary between normal is, with Master difficulty, enemies did 50% more damage, took 50% less damage. Or you did 50% less, they did 50% more. That's essentially how that worked. With Legendary, it's basically 75. You do 1/4 damage, they do 3/4 more damage. It's basically that type of formula. And so there's a nice, what is it, 150% difference between the damage you're doing and the damage you're taking. Something along those lines. It's pretty significant. It makes it interesting. It requires you to at least put some thought into build and crafting and stuff. Maybe even utilizing some of the potions you would normally forget about in the game. Other than, say, healing and maybe a magic potion every once in a while. What do you normally really use? You know, of course, maybe your blacksmithing and things like that. But overall, invisibility potions maybe. But overall, the things like, you know, certain kind of resistances and stuff like that. Well, they were always kind of an afterthought with me, like in Oblivion and stuff. Unless you really crank the difficulty up. Hardest difficulty on Oblivion was pretty nasty earlier on. Maybe even nastier than this. But, anyway, this kind of entices you to use a little bit more of the stuff that the game has to offer, you know? And so limiting the gear and stuff really kind of pushes you to keep your enchanting skills up so you can make weapons that are actually worth something, that can actually do some kind of damage. When you've got an iron sword as opposed to, say, its Daedric counterpart, the damage difference is pretty significant. So you want to have your smithing up, you want to have your enchanting up to give it a good charge of something that you can really use. Things like that, you know? And so it really kind of incorporates more of what the game has. Things that, once you kind of learn the game and learn what you're doing, are kind of an afterthought later on, you know? So I really like that aspect of it. So that's how we're going to roll. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to go ahead and probably cut it off right here as we enter the keep, and then we'll start from there. Get out of Helgen, get off into town with Rayloff. Yeah, I'm not going to follow that bastard. Sure not going to do that. What, do you got another chopping block inside? Oh, wow, look at that. Talk about ragdoll. Bethesda's showing off their ragdoll skills. Picking that dude up 100 miles in the air. Almost like he got launched by a giant. Everyone's done that, right? Picked a fight with a giant, got launched 1,000,000 miles in the air. Right on. All right, so we'll start from here on the next one. But like I say, thanks for joining in. I hope you want to stick with me through this Let's Play. This ought to be some fun. All right, you want to subscribe, click that button up top. All right, and for this playlist, and click that image there in the middle. All right, it'll take you right there. Thanks for watching. I will catch you all on the next one. All right, y'all take care. Bye-bye.